If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. To be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. For what is the worth of a human life unless it is woven into the life of our ancestors by the records of history? Read at every weight, read at all hours, read within leisure, read in times of labour, read as one goes in, read as one goes out. The task of the educated mind is simply put, read to lead. If we are not ashamed to think it, we should not be ashamed to say it. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by doubling our joys and dividing our grief. Not to know what has been transacted in former times is to be always a child. If no use is made of the labours of past ages, the world must remain always in the infancy of knowledge. The authority of those who teach is often an obstacle to those who want to learn. While there's life, there's hope. The life given us by nature is short, but the memory of a well-spent life is eternal. The shifts of fortune test the reliability of friends. The life of the dead is placed on the memories of the living. The love you gave in life keeps people alive beyond their time. Anyone who is given love will always live on in another's heart. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. What is morally wrong can never be advantageous, even when it enables you to make some gain that you believe to be your advantage. The mere act of believing that some wrongful course of action constitutes an advantage is pernicious. We must not say every mistake is a foolish one. It is foolish to tear one's hair in grief as though sorrow would be made less by baldness. It is a great thing to know your vices. I am not ashamed to confess I am ignorant of what I do not know. When you wish to instruct, be brief, that men's minds take in quickly what you say, learn its lesson, and retain it faithfully. Every word that is unnecessary only pours over the side of a brimming mind. The enemy is within the gates. It is with our own luxury, our own folly, our own criminality that we have to contend. Our span of life is brief, but is long enough for us to live well and honestly. Any man can make mistakes, but only an idiot persists in his error. The function of wisdom is to discriminate between good and evil. The man who backbites an absent friend, nay, who does not stand up for him when another blames him, the man who angles for bursts of laughter and for the repute of a wit, who can invent what he never saw, who cannot keep a secret, that man is black at heart. Mark and avoid him. Though silence is not necessarily an admission, it is not a denial either. It is the peculiar quality of a fool to perceive the faults of others and to forget his own. God's law is right reason. When perfectly understood, it is called wisdom. When applied by government in regulating human relations, it is called justice. Time obliterates the fictions of opinion and confirms the decisions of nature. A mind without instruction can no more bear fruit than a field, however fertile, without cultivation. Hours and days and months and years go by. The past returns no more, and what is to be we cannot know, but whatever the time gives us in which we live, we should therefore be content. Nothing stands out so conspicuously or remains so firmly fixed in the memory as something which you have blundered. Men decide far more problems by hate, love, lust, rage, sorrow, joy, hope, fear, illusion, or some other inward emotion than by reality, authority, any legal standard, judicial precedent, or statute. Natural ability without education has more often raised a man to glory and virtue than education without natural ability. The best armour of old age is a well-spent life preceding it, a life employed in the pursuit of useful knowledge, in honourable actions and the practice of virtue, in which he who labours to improve himself from his youth will in age reap the happiest fruits of them, not only because these never leave a man, not even in the extremest old age, but because a conscience bearing witness that our life was well spent, together with the remembrance of the past, good actions, yields an unspeakable comfort to the soul. They who say we should love our fellow citizens but not foreigners destroy the universal brotherhood of mankind, with which benevolence and justice would perish forever. I have always been of the opinion that unpopularity earned by doing what is right is not unpopularity at all, but glory. A man of faith is also full of courage. Everyone has the obligation to ponder well his own specific traits of character. He must also regulate them adequately and not wonder whether someone else's traits might suit him better. The more definitely his own a man's character is, the better it fits him. The famous Lucius Cassius, whom the Roman people used to regard as a very honest and wise judge, was in the habit of asking, time and again, to whose benefit? 6 mistakes mankind keeps making century after century: believing that personal gain is made by crushing others, worrying about things that cannot be changed or corrected, insisting that a thing is impossible because we cannot accomplish it, refusing to set aside trivial preferences, neglecting development and refinement of the mind, attempting to compel others to believe and live as we do.